Well, let's talk a little bit about your newest album, Horrible Occurrences, which came out in December on Run for Cover and your own label, Orindal Records. I read, the internet told me, that the songs are set in a fictional Michigan town called Richmond. Is that correct?
Well, fictional town, yeah. Not Michigan specifically. I meant to keep it pretty vague just because there's I think there's something like 20 some odd different Richmonds across the U.S. So I meant it to be just kind of like
any
Springfield
Richmond
on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Just kind of a generic
American
town.
That's why the internet sometimes doesn't tell us the full story.
That's true.
Are these songs character studies or are they more personal?
Oh, I guess both. I mean, I think a lot of it is inspired by real stuff, but, ultimately it's with the intention of, fiction, made up characters.
Do you usually record at home or do you go into a studio?
I do. Yeah, I kind of prefer to do the recording at home in my basement. For this album, a very good friend of mine, Jason Queever, who's in the San Francisco Bay Area, an old friend of mine from college. He mixed the record, so I, just over the internet, we would just exchange files, and he has a very nice home studio, with much fancier, rack of compressors and preamps and things than I have, and a better ear than I have. So I thought it was a really fruitful collaboration. We've been working together for long enough where I feel like we have a really good shorthand, and he knows
that's great
what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful album.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And I personally love sad and melancholy music. And you've become known for writing really beautiful melancholy songs. What keeps you in that space? You just feels right?
Those are the songs I kind of grew up loving. I mean, there's a lot of like soul music and country music in the house when I was growing up. And yes, I was always really attracted to story songs. And the sad ones seemed like be the ones that would move a little slower, and I don't know. I find myself really getting kind of lost in these country ballads with like really vivid imagery, and that was just kind of became the ideal of what songwriting was for me. So. Yeah,
that's great. Well, I think now would be a great time for another song.
Sure. I'll just play the next song on the album. It's called "The Tooth Fairy." If you have little children, maybe turn the radio off for the next couple minutes. Melody lost your tooth the other night, and I only had a 20 on me. And Claire was in Wisconsin seeing her mom. She just had surgery. So after I tucked Melody into bed, waited a while till she was asleep, I put on my shoes and I slipped out the back, walked to the liquor store. No, I just intended to break my 20, so I'd have $1 to put under her pillow. I figured a 6-pack of High Life would do the trick, as well as a candy bar would. So back to the house with a 6-pack in hand, a 10 and a 1 in my wallet. I crept through the back door to Melody's room. I found her bed empty. Well, I said a name and I switched on the light. Panicked and shouting, I searched through the house. Just as I thought I should call the police, I heard Melody through the window. I ran out the front door as she turned to me, her bare little feet on the street. And through her sobbing, she asked me, "Where did you go? Where did you go, Dad? I couldn't find you."
You've been listening to Advanced Bass here in the studio ahead of tonight's show at the Bishop with Amy O and David Woodruff's Moonscreen. You released music as Casiotone for the Painfully Alone from 1997 to 2010.
Correct. Yeah.
Why did you change the project?
Well, I started that project on my own, and I had so many friends with bands that broke up over the years because they couldn't get along, or someone would move away, or I kind of got jealous that there was just these
you couldn't have
dramatic
a fallout.
ending. Yeah, exactly. And I kind of was imagining if I was to do a different project, what I could do differently with just like a fresh start. Because it's those friends whose bands would break up would start new projects, and there'd be this new kind of sophistication as they're shedding old skin and writing new songs with an older, wiser perspective. And I was like, I want to try that. So, I liked the idea of just kind of challenging myself to throw everything out and start over with a new set of songs.
That's cool. And you've done some really cool collaborative work. I love the song Phish Pepsi that you did with MJ Linderman and Carly from Wednesday. Your friends, those are some of your pals?
Yeah. So I run Orindal Records, and I released the first couple of Wednesday records on. Carly had written that song and asked if I would just want to sing and play on it, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. I admire them so much, and they've absolutely blown up.
They are having the biggest moment
for sure.
Right now.
Yeah, and just they're both incredible, musicians and songwriters. We re-recorded Phish Pepsi for the new Wednesday record that's coming out in a few months. So I was really touched. So they asked me to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting!
But I can't take any credit. I didn't write the song. I just sang on it.
That's very cool. What are some of your musical influences? It can be past or present.
Magnetic fields and Kraftwerk, I feel like were the really big ones when I started making music. Those are the ones that, it's just as far as the sound of the music, Kraftwerk I was really inspired by, and Stephen Merritt's songwriting is a big influence. Grew up with a lot of classic soul music in the house, like Otis Redding was a really big deal. My parents went to the rival high school of the Fogerty brothers from Creedence Clearwater Revival, so we had the same Creedence Chronicles tape in my parents' car the whole time growing up. So that was, I think, a really kind of fundamental influence. Mm-hmm. I love a lot of old country music. George Jones is probably my favorite singer. But all kinds of stuff, and kind of got into punk and indie rock in high school, listening to college radio and independent radio. I listen to all kinds of music. But tended to gravitate towards the slow, sad stuff. Yeah.
I noticed when doing research that you and I are both born in 1977. Yes. And how has being a parent or getting older kind of changed the way you write or the way you work, or has it?
The way I write, I think just having more life experience to draw from. Also, having written a couple hundred songs, I tend to throw out more stuff than I used to, just because I feel like I already had so many ideas turn into songs. I feel like I'm a lot pickier about what I want to write about or what I want to put out in the world. The people on my songs have certainly aged with me.
Yeah.
Like I tend to write about older folks going through similar problems, things like that.
Yeah. What were you listening to in your van on the way here?
Nothing. I was we've been driving with the windows down on this trip, and
nice.
just kind of enjoying the quiet. It's been, this is the first day the weather's been kind of pleasant. It's been so hot, and the AC in my old Subaru isn't working great, so I was driving with the windows down mostly out of necessity, just to stay
nice.
cool. But
some peace and quiet.
I love the quiet. Yeah. And the nights I've had music at the shows, and I've really enjoyed some of the other artists I've been playing with. But during the day, just kind of thinking.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think we have time for one more song.
Sure. All right, I'm going to sing a song called How You Got Your Picture on the Wall, and it's about getting caught shoplifting. Growing up in Richmond, you were anarchic and shy. Tried to steal some tampons that you were too scared to buy. Say, she's the Kroger manager, sit in his faithful drawl. That was how you got your picture on the wall. You told me the story the first night that we hung out. 1,000 miles west in your new room in your new house. And you laughed when I said I'd like to see that photo now. And we kissed beneath the pictures on your wall. Couple July's later, and we live together now. I drove your van to Richmond to move your kid brother out. And cruising by the Kroger, I remember all about Laney, how you got your picture on the wall. I snuck around back to where deliveries arrive. I saw a Dorset manager, and so I went inside. A grid of Polaroid stared, yours stared hardest of them all. That was how I got your picture off the wall. That was how I got your picture off the wall.
You've been listening to Advanced Bass here on WFHB. How can our listeners keep up with you and what you've got going on?
Well, advancebassmusic.com is my website. I think that's a good one.
Spot.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks again, Owen, for making the time to come in and do this.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Advanced Bass is playing tonight at the Bishop with local support from Amy O and David Woodruff's Moonscreen. Doors open at 8 p.m. and the show starts at 9 p.m. Be sure to subscribe to our WFHB Firehouse Sessions YouTube page for more live sessions like this. This is your host, music director, and Firehouse Session producer, Abby Neruzzi, and I'd like to give many thanks to our general manager, Jar Turner, engineer Jared Coyle, and videographer Brian Boucher of No Guru Media. And I also want to thank the Bishop Bar for sponsoring these sessions, and to you for tuning in to WFHB.